idea what night it is tonight, but I do know I'm extremely excited. It's another episode of Awesome People. And I got to tell you, the guest this evening is for sure the quintessential definition of awesome. And, I was going to like read the bio and go into details, but I'd rather tell the story about how I met the guest for this evening, which is Bita Milanian. And Bita is this awesome young lady that 8 years ago, when I was producing the Star Musician Contest, I was doing it in LA, so I didn't know that many people, and it was a big old contest. It was like the Persian version of American Idol, and I really, really needed like support. And because I didn't know anybody in LA, I was just asking the people that I did know, like, who are the people that would be truly helping me make this a success? And one of the people that stood up and offered to help voluntarily and give so much of her time and valuable effort, and more importantly, share her Rolodex. You guys have no idea how important it is when somebody shares their Rolodex, and like when they share their Rolodex, that means that they are truly supportive of you. And this is one of those individuals that I will cherish and appreciate forever. And I'm so glad that from a professional working environment, it became a friendship, even though we don't get to see each other all the time. Every time we do text or chat or whatever, it's really awesome, and we have this really cool connection about the fact that we also have a little bit of German in us. So we lived in Germany, so we are Iranian German Americans. But enough about talking about me. It's time for you to meet this lovely lady if you have never met her before, and if you have met her or heard of her, now you get to take a deep dive in who is Bita Milanian. How are you, Bita Jun?
Hi, Iman. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Man, I really am excited. I haven't been excited for a Friday night like this in a long time. So thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me. It took us a COVID-19 for us to have this meetup live. We should have done this a long time ago. And thank you so much for that awesome introduction. You're awesome yourself. And I think at some point we need to switch roles and maybe I interview you on this show.
Well, it'll be fun. You do have a show, which we're going to talk about too. So you can share, you will be able to share what you're doing, because in many ways, it's a similar way, and like this has been like always the great bond and connection that I've had with you, and why I wanted to introduce you to my network who may not have known of you. Obviously, I know everybody in Cali knows you, but in different pockets of the world, you may not have been introduced, and I wanted to make sure that my network gets to do that. And because you're dropping it in your Facebook, hello to all of your friends and all your followers. My name is Iman from DC/Miami, and thank you so much for sharing your LA angel with me for a few minutes. So
thank you.
So Bita, we're going to be talking about a wide range of stuff. It's obviously going to be the talk of this incredible period of time that we're going through, thanks or no thanks to COVID-19. And also you have a deep passion for food, love, community, and you've done so many amazing things, not just in the community but professionally. And then we also have the fact that you're leading the force for the census, so there's so many things for us to unwrap and go over here tonight. But first, for those who don't know Bita Milanian, I want you to just share it in your own words, who you are, your background, and that's it. Let's start with that.
It's going to be tough to do it quickly and briefly, but let's just start with our immigrant story, something that we all share, especially here in America. We're all immigrants at some point, especially in the Iranian American community. I moved to the United States in 1989. It's been 31 years.
Me too.
Counting. Yeah, that's right.
1989.
Yeah, and we both moved here from
Germany,
Germany, right? Where we both, I think that's where I've met other individuals like yourself and myself that have that grew up in Germany, and we share a special bond, because I think the foundation that we have, whether for me having lived there 2.5 years as a refugee, or you much longer, there is something about the German structure that just like builds your foundation, makes you tougher. And I had another friend actually just recently say it would be the best of both worlds, mixing German and Persian culture and ethics. So I think she's right.
I agree.
So as I mentioned, I lived in Germany for 2.5 years as a refugee with my parents, and then 31 years ago we were lucky enough to immigrate to the US. And my professional career, I've always lived in Los Angeles, never lived anywhere else, even though I've traveled the world, especially with the role that I have today and over the past 24 years, being in technology world, telecommunication world. I was one of the first geeky ones in the, I just stumbled upon the industry through family who was in the industry and asked me to come and kind of work with them to get myself into the real professional working world back in '96, and I've been in telecommunications ever since. Even though I've taken breaks and done some projects and community related jobs, which we can talk about, but as at my core, I'm a telecom marketing professional. I now work for a very large telecommunications company where we serve 140 countries and have over 4,000 employees, close to $1 billion in
It's called
value.
Ribbon. It's called Ribbon.
It's called Ribbon.
But you guys just joined, I think.
Yeah. So that was part of one of my amazing milestones in my career in 2017, where the company I originally started working for, Gemban, merged with another competitor called Sonus, and I was, as my official title is Senior VP of Global Marketing for Ribbon, and which I was at the same time for Gemban at the time, and it was an amazing experience for me to be able to help rebrand and rename the two companies and bring them together, and then go ring the bell at NASDAQ and officially announce it, being a public company. So Ribbon has its own story, and I have this incredible marketing team that puts on all the programs and the digital marketing and the content.
I was witness to that when you guys at a huge conference.
That's the last time I saw you. It was in DC.
When was it? October?
May of last year. May of 2019. We do an annual conference called Perspectives, and we try to rotate our cities. And last time was in DC. And this year was going to be in your other hometown, Miami, at the Turnberry, but unfortunately, so
hopefully next time. But that, first of all, that was I've had many moments where I've been very proud of you and so impressed. But seeing you run the show for Perspectives, who was the singer again? The famous American
Taylor Dane.
That's right. And for somebody like me who's in events and production, I love it when other people are doing amazing stuff with production. And so seeing that whole team and coming all to fruition, and knowing how proud of you were of you and your team, I enjoyed that as much as I think you did. So
this actually, April 1st is my 6-year anniversary working for this company, and I don't share much of my corporate everyday world on my social media and what I do every day. Therefore, not too many people really know what I do. They only see the fun community, outreach or whatever it is I'm doing. So a lot of people have no clue what my real daytime job is.
That's why I wanted to have this little kick out.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful that I have this great job, which, by the way, I'm the only employee in Los Angeles. I get to work from home. Obviously, I travel a lot over the past 6 years. I'm on the road a lot, not so much lately, but it proves that what's going on today with the use of technology, you and I being able to connect with each other. That's what my company does. We're the core infrastructure of every single carrier around the world that is a customer of Ribbon, and we were just ranked number 19 out of 111 on entrepreneurs platforms that help people work from home and function. So I'm really proud of that.
So you guys are super busy right now, and
yes,
and your core services are now being
even more valuable than ever. So when this ranking just got announced on Entrepreneur Magazine yesterday, and the young man who put the article together, I tagged Entrepreneur, and he came and said, "Thanks for sharing. I've been working on this for a whole week, even though it was just a small idea, and it turned into this amazing thing." I mean, imagine 111 companies out there are enabling all of us. By the way, some of those 111 are Ribbon's customers, because we're a white label company. We're like a infrastructure company. So even though we're number 19 on that list, we're really also serving
So you guys provide exactly what are the primary services that you provide for these other companies?
So basically, the core hardware, software infrastructure of any telecom company out there, any carrier, from AT&T to Verizon to Deutsche Telekom to any carrier out there, we're among those companies that we're providing the backbone. For example, City of Los Angeles, where I live, I'm so super proud that today the mayor's office and City of LA, LAPD, LA Fire Department, they're all using our unified communications platform to be able to communicate, and we're turning up more and more lines as they create these satellite offices. So
awesome. So I mean, especially, I always knew it, but I think anyone who's listening and they're understanding not just your role, which is a senior vice president role, and also just the scale that your company operates at, one must ask that, okay, so you have this position, you have this career, you're in America, you've been here for 30 years, yet you're not only a proud Los Angelian, or Angelino. Sorry, I know that's but I love it how you're also such a proud German as immigrant. And why do you think that you are still so interwoven with the Persian community when you could easily have abandoned it?
I have no idea. I've asked that question of myself, and I took a break, obviously, from the telecom and the corporate world in 2010. It started in 2009, but officially in 2010, 11, I quit that job and I went and worked for Fahrenheit Foundation, where I had been there from the beginning, and I became eventually the executive director, and Fahrenheit Foundation became my baby. And for those of you who don't know Fahrenheit, it's the most incredible cultural nonprofit organization here in Southern California, and they do incredible work in celebrating Iranian art and culture for the benefit of all. And I literally left this industry that I'm describing at different companies and to go do this. And I've in my lifetime of this past 20 years being in the Iranian American community and working for variety of nonprofits and projects and artists and what have you, which my resume, I'm so proud of it, is so long, and I hope that I've done justice to all of them. I have questioned myself, why would you be so passionate? It just I'm dumbfounded myself, the fact that I still.
It must be the money.
So much money. You mean all the money out of my pocket? Yes, that's right.
Everybody says that there's so much money, and that's.
When I started my Butterfly Buzz agency and I did these productions and these concerts, and the German in us, the perfectionist in us, everything I took on, even things that never make money, I always make it I make it a project from A to Z. It has timelines, it has a communication plan, it has policies, it has guidelines. So that's just how I know how to function. And it was funny because every time I executed something really well, the haters, which means that we've done something right, would say, well, she's just doing this for the money. Whereas I had lost probably 70% or whatever it was. And, for me, I was lucky enough not to allow any of those negativities. At the time, we didn't have social media as heavily as today. Today is even worse. To be able to go past that and really focus on your mission, which is doing a good job with pure intentions and being genuine about it. Those that get it and appreciate it, they do, and they stick with you, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. No, I mean, we're not meant to be in this world to appeal to everybody,
Exactly.
But if you're lucky enough, you have a small group of people around you.
So cheers to all of them.
Yeah, no, of course.
Cheers to all of the people that appreciate the people that work hard and they see through them. I definitely try to do that. I've always, genuinely try to help support others and elevate them and put them on the pedestal.
I think I can vouch for that. I can definitely vouch for that. So
cheers.
And you know what? Cheers to the other ones too, man. Just make sure you find your own happiness. Don't bring somebody else. Focus on your own happiness. So first of all, I'm glad that you're part of a company that's thriving right now. But the reality is that we are living in one of the most precarious times of our history. Many would say of all time, but definitely in our lifetime. And I just would love to have your take. How have you been handling it? How have you been keeping positive? Obviously, you've been keeping busy, but what just tell me about your experience, you and Bruce.
Yeah, so Bruce, my husband of how long have we've been together since 1998, married since 2001. He definitely, Bruce, or Bear, who's June, he's definitely been my pillar of support. If there's so many things that I've been blessed with, my parents, friends, but Bruce has been my, seriously my pillar of support like no other, especially working in the community, doing community work and doing all the things that I've been doing as a woman. And by the way, the industry I'm in is very much male dominated, but I've never allowed that part of the discrimination or the injustices that are there with women in technology that I've posted about a lot and talk about, and I'm very much passionate about to help kind of level that situation. I've never really had a huge, something that has brought me down. I've always looked at it from the other side. I'm an equal, and I just went for it. And in my personal life, having had Bruce as my partner, it's been a true blessing to be able to do all the things that I'm doing professionally and personally, even though some of the projects that I take on, including what we're about to talk about, with the Census, they take a lot of time from my personal life. And, he never complains. He doesn't like it sometimes, he sometimes gets dragged into it and he has to help too. But, he's been, okay, that's what you want to do. Great. Like today with this interview, he helped me set up the light. It's so important for partners and, family members to support each other, especially if you have somebody crazy like me who wants to do all these different things and they have the ability to do it. Everybody should support them. If you see somebody in your family that has the capabilities of doing different things and they feel like they can't do it because they don't have the emotional or the whatever financial support, if you see a potential in them, everybody should pitch in and help them to reach their maximum potentials. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Behruz June for being such a supportive. I mean, that's all you can possibly ask for when it comes to a partner in life, is that somebody that really supports you and your mission, you and your vision, you and your goals, and you and your dreams. And I've seen from afar that he has been your biggest cheerleader, and that's incredible. I mean, many men should learn from him, especially Persian men.
So we've been together since 1998 by faith, blind date, believe in blind dates.
Wow.
We can have a full live broadcast on dating, going on blind dates, and it works. And today, from my stepson with him, I have 3 beautiful grandchildren. They call me Nini. Some people say
the coolest grandmother. For sure.
They know me as grandma or Nini, Mama Ni, short for Nini. And I have this. I'm really lucky. I didn't have children of my own with Bruce, which today I'm happy I didn't, because of this crazy world we live in. It's so hard. My hat's off, and I bow down to every parent out there. You guys are my heroes. Parents out there are my heroes. It's not easy, especially with this COVID-19, being home with the kids and homeschooling while going through your own challenges. Being a parent is so hard.
I came to Miami from DC because I didn't want my parents to be so upset
anymore.
So it never ends.
By the way, I love your parents and I love your relationship with your parents. Everybody should learn from you, being the most amazing son that you are to your parents.
I appreciate it. I'm fully flawed, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we all are, but the way we handle them, So anyway, we've been together. The way we're handling it, I think in Los Angeles, we knew about COVID-19 and, about staying safe at home, probably from early March, but the official night here in Los Angeles.
Last week, right?
No, it was on on Sal Tahvil, on Persian New Year.
Oh, wow. So 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah, and on March 19th was the official announcement. I was preparing Sabzi Polomahi, and and we're not together with family. We already knew my parents can't come over, and my grandkids usually come over on Persian New Year, so we canceled that, which was heartbreaking for me, but that's okay. And that's when it was announced here at 5:30 in the afternoon, and 8 o'clock we had 8:45 was Sal Tahvil. So we've been home. I probably have left home 2 or 3 times. I took it seriously long time ago. I knew, being connected with Europe and the rest of the world through my work, I knew early on this is going to, be a much bigger thing that a lot of people think it is. So I've become very passionate about making sure we stop the fake news, the WhatsApp messages, the Telegram messages that are going around, and it's so devastating to see, especially the elderly who are desperate to have information. They're falling to the trap of this, ridiculous chain of, wrong information. So I beg everybody to please go to the source. There's so many valid sources now in every city, in every county, on a state level, on a global level, CDC,
John Hopkins University. There's definitely credible sources,
And there are also Persian language, outlets that are putting out, correct information.
Can I pause this for 1 second?
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. So I don't know if you saw my post on Instagram, but it was about this mother Persian mother who's washing a baguette. Did you? However, there is Gushkon. There's a funnier story behind this. So first of all, I saw it last night, and like I proclaimed it as the funniest Persian video I've ever seen because, especially because the reaction of the daughter,
I know.
cursing, like Asan, it was like,
I
oh my God,
know.
this is like every Persian household.
With,
But then,
there's
but
another one with the dog running around. They're like, this is the dog that the family didn't want. It's funny.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, so this video I posted it, and I was like, if anybody knows this girl, I want her to have me as a guest. I have a guest, awesome people. Within 2 minutes, I had one of my Instagram friends message me saying I know her, and then she
That's
told her, and then she messaged me, and I was like, the 6 degrees of separation shit really works. There's
like
80,
zero
like
degree of
like that
separation.
that that video could have been any 80 million Iranians in the
Yeah,
world,
true that.
and like within 5 minutes, I was connected. So then, like, she saw a couple videos that I did with Tehran and Bliss. She's like,
Mhm,
Iman, I'm sorry, like, my English isn't that good. And I was
mhm.
like, okay, don't worry. We won't do a live like this, but we're gonna
Yeah,
do
do
it.
like a clip with her. Yeah.
We're doing an Instagram live actually,
Oh, I love
on
it.
Sunday night. But
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Neely and her husband Payam, they're from somewhere in Florida, actually, very near to
That's
me right now
so
in Miami.
hilarious.
So it's just this whole story has been so
No, this
fun.
whole misinformation, I'm telling you, Anna, it's become my pet peeve. And I fake news. Anytime somebody sends something to me, and the funniest part of it all is how people get offended. They're like, it's like you're cursing at them when you tell them you're sending me fake news. It's
Yeah,
okay, you didn't know, but I'm
yeah, I
telling you
know.
it's fake because I care for you. So let's just
Exactly.
take a moment when somebody tells you it's not accurate information, it's for your own good.
Exactly. All right. So what we're gonna do next, Bito, we're gonna go to a little break, just
Okay.
because when we do this kind of stuff, at the end of the day, we want to have a nice little promotional plug to kind of keep things
Yeah.
exciting. So we're gonna go for a little break. But when we come back from this little break, we're gonna do
Mhm.
rapid fire, by the way. So we're gonna be asking you some questions that you've never heard of before, and I'll give you the rules when we come back. So let's go to the commercial. I'll be right back.
I like breaking the rules.
All right, rule breaker.
Need some space? Introducing the Space Stick. Perfectly crafted to keep you exactly 6 feet away from others. Your order will also include the body grip to free up your hands to enjoy that OJ. Order now for just $9.99.
All jokes aside, now more than ever, you need to be mindful of your health, look out for your loved ones, and take social distancing seriously like we are right now. With your free time, we encourage you to invest in yourself personally and professionally.
And that's what we're here for. As experienced business, branding, and video content specialists, we want to help you create a strong foundation to withstand the storm.
And since we're all in this together, we want to offer you a free coaching session. We would love to help everyone, but unfortunately with limited bandwidth, we're only able to select a few businesses. So click on the link below and in our bio for more information and to apply now.
Let's unite and
Conquer.
All right, so we're back with the one and only Bita Milanian, one of my favorite Iranian, well, actually the favorite Iranian German American that I know. And
That's
so I have to address this video that you guys saw, and just Bita, in case you didn't know, especially given the circumstances right now, what my team at Unite and Conquer and Night Owls are able to do is really help out other small business owners and creating
nice.
cool content. And we're actually offering coaching sessions. So like
Nice.
I'm literally offering free coaching sessions for people who go and apply. I feel like this is the best way to go through this period by helping other people. And for
100%.
us, a coaching session is like I get to talk to other small business owners. I get to
Mentoring is so important.
yeah, I mean, it's all about supporting each other at this time, So if there's any small business owners that are watching this all over the world, myself and Jasmine, who's a brand therapist, and Brandon, who's our video content specialist, who's doing the switching right now,
Shout out to Brandon.
yeah, for sure. I mean, he's one of the integral members of Night Owls. I mean, like I have a whole team, Beta, that truly loves to help other people right now,
Love it.
And when we're looking for business too, what better than to team up with another company that wants to also grow their business? And so that's what the video that the people just saw was basically the commercial for that.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to some rapid questions, and there's just very quick rule. You either are gonna start answering the question like within like 10 seconds, or I'm going to the next one, okay? Because it has to be not just a rapid question, but it's gotta be rapid
It's
answer.
been a long day. I've been up since 5 a.m. Let's see how my brain.
I'm gonna start them easy for you. They're gonna be softballs, and then it gets to like curveballs. All right, texting or talking.
Texting.
Favorite day of the week.
Friday.
Oh, I know why. I'm glad I assigned you for
No,
the
seriously, it's Friday.
Okay, cool. Friday.
Yay.
Favorite city in the US besides LA?
New York.
Oh, okay. Nickname your parents used to call you. Or call you.
Bitana.
Bitana. That's
Mhm.
cool. What's this?
It's like Bitana, the biscuits, like the cookies, Bitana. I was like, actually, it's Bitana. Sorry, I apologize. It's Bitana.
Oh,
It was like these like cookies, like in Iran. Those who were in Iran, they know.
Last song you downloaded or streamed, or like.
It was last time was George Michael's Symphonica.
Oh wow, my sister loves George Michael.
Yeah.
So good mood, by the way.
Answer these questions.
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job. Actually, so while we're on this note, your favorite Persian singer? I know this is a bad question to ask you because you're friends with all of them.
You want me to like get like killed? My favorite Persian male singer, I'll tell you, is Farmaz Aslani.
Oh yeah, and Marjan, she's so awesome. I actually was gonna message Marjan today to see if we can make have Farmaz do the same show, and I actually want Marjan doing there too. She's
I already told her they might be watching right now. If you're watching,
man.
hi.
Sultan Bozorg and Shahzadeh. I mean, not Shahzadeh. Well, anyways, I was referring to Farmaz. Okay, so then we have here: would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals? This will determine your love for animals.
No,
as somebody who speaks 4 languages, it's a tough decision here.
Yeah, every language in the world.
Okay, very cool. Favorite holiday?
Nowruz.
And damn it, we freaking miss celebrating it like normal, but we will certainly never forget this Nowruz, that's for sure.
And I also like Christmas equally, if I may.
Oh, because of Weihnachten, when you
I just think those are the 2 celebrations that you really get. Us living in abroad. I mean, even in Iran they celebrate it now bigger than here. But it's just like are the 2 times of the year that you drop everything and you bring family together and you do so many amazing things. And
I love it.
That's what I love about them.
Yeah, it's like when the world shuts down.
Yeah.
How long does it take for you to get ready?
20 minutes.
Scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
10.
I am. You do IG lives and stuff. Yeah, of course.
No, I'm like a great driver.
At what age do you want to retire?
Probably 70, but I'll probably never really retire.
I was gonna say I can't even see you as a retiree.
I mean, officially yes, but I don't think I'll ever retire. But all I know. And I'm going live on this and it'll be forever. All I know is that I don't want to live forever, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
like I'm not one of those people, like if I'm like crippled and like people have to take care of me, it's just not my thing. So anyway.
I know. No, but I do agree.
It's not a negative thing,
I completely basically until you're dependent, that's a good time to be,
Exactly.
Invisibility or super strength?
Super strength.
You know what? You passed the rapid fire. Great job, Bita. That was good. I thought that was awesome.
I was really worried about this one because I wasn't sure what you're gonna ask. So thank you.
I kept them very nice, but I might throw in a couple curveballs throughout the evening as we progress. So
keep me on my edge of my seat.
What's that?
Keep me on my edge of my seat.
So you have a deep passion for cooking and food and stuff like that, and you have like
and dancing. I forgot to tell you about that one. Yeah.
Oh man, seriously, you have the longest resume in history.
I know.
So you choose. Do you want? Well, you can talk about both. Which one do you want to talk about first? Which one?
Let's talk about cooking. I think I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's do cooking. If you have Bita's Kitchen, I want you to share with people because there's a lot of people, especially right now, that have a lot of time on their hand. That they can hopefully tune to Bita's Kitchen.
First of all, I find this whole thing about, I'm all about supporting small business and eating out. And I've been one of the, I'm a foodie forever kind of a person. But I think during these challenging times to be told to eat out is a bit of a strange kind of a contradiction to me. Yeah. But anyway, more than ever, cooking at home, I think, has become more relevant to all of us. And it gives us an opportunity to eat healthy. Yeah. And that's how this whole Bita's Kitchen started. When I took this job in 2014, I started traveling so much, especially the first year and a half, that my body went into exhaustion mode. I went into early menopause. I'm 46. I went into menopause at 42. I share this openly because I think it's important to talk about these things, especially as women.
Yeah.
Sometimes women don't talk about these things. I've been a very healthy person all my life, but when I left Farhang, Farhang Foundation, where I worked very long hours, and we did so many amazing things as an organization, but it took a toll on me working long hours. And then I jumped into this new job, which also had long hours, and then on top of that, travel. My body just went into this like, hello, I can't take it no more. So I went into early menopause, and that comes with a whole series of things. Those have gone through it know it, and usually don't go until in your 50s. And I went through it very early on, which
and if I'm not mistaken, like at first you don't automatically even think it's that, right?
No, I mean, the reason I found that I have it, I wasn't paying attention to the female stuff so much. I thought, oh, I'm just traveling and it's like irregular. But then I started having extreme hyperpigmentation in my face, like dark spots everywhere. So I just was a mess. People don't see some of these things, and I like to talk about these things because people don't talk about these things.
I love it. Yeah.
So I realized when I did this test finally, because I wasn't sure what's going on with my skin. That's how it all started. I found out my all my levels, my everything you can imagine. It's like cortisol levels. Everything is like boom under like. Talk about flattening the curve. All my curves were like down below.
Right.
So that's when I realized, Bita, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't wake up and, eat well, sleep well, exercise, which I wasn't doing probably for over 10 years. And luckily enough, I was not, overweight, but I wasn't healthy. Physically, I wasn't fit. So that's how I started. I'm like, you know what? At least when I'm home and I'm not traveling, I'm going to start cooking. And then with social media, I started posting my videos, and some of them now pop up from back in 2017 with like thousands of views, which like was like, what? I'm just making a pasta, but like the way I guess I made it, or however quickly I made it, then the whole concept became healthy, quick meals that you can make at home with minimal ingredients, keep it simple so people don't think. And in 2018, I like woke up one Friday.
Of course.
And I'm like, you know what? Just make this thing real, because I was mixing it up. I was putting it on my personal feed, and I'm like, maybe people don't want to see my cooking, but those people that do it. So that's how Bita's Kitchen came about.
Yeah.
Bita Kitchen Official is the handle on both Facebook.
I was going to say it again. Everywhere they can find you right now, say it, because I think this is one of the things.
Just Google me.
Okay, or Google, yeah.
Yeah, but Bita Kitchen Official is my kitchen profile, and Bita Milanian is obviously my personal. But, I started like posting videos there, and it like kind of took a life of its own. And then back in May, when I came back from Perspectives, when you saw me in DC, a dear friend of mine, Alex Sarkisian, has a restaurant here in Los Angeles called Momed, which is a Middle Eastern Mediterranean flair. And 3 years ago, he started this thing called Immigrant Dinners as part of Los Angeles Food Bowl, where he was featuring foods from different countries that were part of the travel ban.
Yeah.
It was really the coolest concept. So this past year in 2019, which happens every May, every Wednesday, he featured food from different parts of the world. Last year, he decided to feature guest chefs. So the first 2 weeks was an Italian-American chef, and then the last 2 weeks was Bita as the guest chef for Persian cooking, and we raised money, and it was the most incredible experience.
I remember that.
And we got to, I got to cook in a real commercial kitchen and prepare food. I mean, it's hard work. I have so much, I always had respect for people in restaurant industry and working in kitchens, but this took it next level. So Bita's Kitchen has kind of taken a life of its own. And
when was the last time you made an episode?
So I have like some ideas that, I'm working on. It's not just about cooking. It's about, kind of mixing the social elements into it. So hopefully I was planning on shooting my pilot this past couple of months, but then it's been kind of crazy. And then I got sucked and kind of went into the whole Census campaign, so which we can talk about at the end. But so anyway, Bita's Kitchen, it's all about how do we make quick, healthy meals under 45 minutes with minimal ingredients. And my focus is mainly Persian and Italian, but sometimes I made an Asian dish, and I'm making more and more vegetarian and vegan recipes that are still very tasty. So and people are becoming less meat. People want to eat more vegetarian or vegan. I myself, I'm semi-vegan. and I feel good about it. And that was part of my whole regimen to fix my other health problems.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. Being gluten-free has helped me a lot. So anyway.
Well, first of all, what I really admired is the fact that you mentioned your experience with the early menopause and just being open about it. If there's some type of advice or suggestions or just a message that you want to give right now to women who are either before it or going through it, feel free to share this.
Number one for any woman out there, especially going through that phase of their life, is self-care. For you to, make sure you exercise, make sure you eat healthy. For me, becoming non-dairy focused and no gluten has helped me a lot while exercising. And my form of exercise, which started in November of 2017, that month of November 2017, when my company merged and had that big merger, and then I signed up or agreed to be part of this Dancing with the Stars style dance competition, which I had to train for, and then I ended up winning it, and that's how I got into whole dancing, ballroom dancing, and I've been competing, as an amateur, and been continuing to dance. Has really emotionally and physically helped me to get through that really difficult period. I'm not on any medication, thankfully, no hormones, nothing. I've stayed away from it as much as possible because that's what doctors tell you. If you can compensate by exercising and creating your own, basically allowing your own body to heal itself as much as possible, and then eating healthy and sleeping and basically taking care of yourself,
Well, how do you know that, because obviously you're a driven person, you really are, you're the kind of person that wants to make the most out of every moment of life. But there are some people that they do it until they actually crash. And so what recommendation do you have that you got to listen to your signs, like there is a point where you don't want to go too much. So
I get criticized, Iman, by certain individuals that are my friends, that I'm doing too much, that I'm going overboard, I need to take it easy. You know what? Everybody should know their own limits. I know my own limits. Yes, there are times because I overcommit and I say yes to too many things that I do take it. But I'm at an age now that I know when to stop. Back in the days, I would work 19, 20-hour days. I don't do that anymore. 10, 11 o'clock, I try to shut down, even though I have things to do.
Good.
You have to find your own balance at some point, Certain people, I'm sure you're the same way. We get more done in a day than some people do in a month. It's just the way it is. It's the dynamic of it. It's not that I'm better than the rest, or it's just everybody has their own, and they're probably better in other things. I'm probably lacking in focus in certain areas, or I make mistakes certain places because I do too many things.
Right.
But it's just everybody's different. So you need to be your own biggest advocate and love yourself like nobody else loves you. And that's what I have come. And these are the typical stuff you hear in every motivational class you go to, any self-improvement kind of guidance that you get. It's about yourself first, because if I don't take care of me, I can take care of nobody else. If I'm not healthy enough to work and make money so I can buy all the things that I want to buy for my grandkids or go visit them, then it doesn't mean anything. So that's my advice.
I love it. No, that's for sure. I'm sure people really appreciate it out there, because and that's why I'm kind of glad that the world is kind of going through this thing too. It sounds so weird to say that, but I think everybody just needs to kind of take a step back and just slow their roll as much as possible, because if you are not in an optimal state of mind, health, body, and soul, you're worthless to yourself, which means that you're worthless to other people too.
Exactly. And what better time now, Iman? We all take it's difficult being home and what have you, but it's a great time to find yourself. I have been very busy with work, and again with the census that we're going to talk about, but I have my checklist that I want to do for myself personally, from organizing my closet, which, by the way, we don't know when we're going to ever use any of the stuff we have in that closet, to revamping my own website and doing this whole portfolio of all the work I've done. These are things that have been on my bucket list that I get hopefully to do now, and so
make the best of it.
Turn every negative into a positive.
So we are going to now talk about the census, but we're going to do it right after this little promo right here.
Okay.
So stay tuned for 1 minute, and we'll come talk about the census.
You got it.
Thank you for sticking around, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying this show and you're enjoying to get to know this incredible woman who just does so many things, does everything with a pure heart, and is like the Energizer Bunny. So it's so fun to have a little chit chat with you, Bita. How you doing so far?
Good. I'm having so much fun with you, and thanks for allowing me to openly talk about me.
It's great. It's wonderful. A lot of people can learn a lot of great things from you.
Thank you.
I'd
I
love
hope
to
so.
have you more and more in the future.
Thanks for the opportunity.
So one of the many things that you're working on right now, which I know you worked on, I think it was 4 years ago, right? The census every 4 years. 10 years. Wait, so oh my God, it's been 10 years since I got this other. Oh my Lord! But so then, wow. Okay. So anyway, well let's just get right to it. Obviously, it's very important to you. You guys have created Instagram pages. You guys are like almost like the official representatives of. So I'll just let you explain what's going on and why it's so important to pay attention.
So in the US, every 10 years, there is something called the census. So the United States counts every single person in every single household, and with that comes so many benefits, and that's how the $675 billion fund gets distributed throughout the United States. The Iranian community, as we all know, does not have its own category as a minority group. We've had some individuals saying, why do we want to separate ourselves? Why don't we want to be part of the big, group of, this community? Why do we want to alienate ourselves? We're not alienating ourselves. This is about the Hispanic community, the Chinese community. We all know that the minority communities in the US receive certain benefits and advantages, which is wonderful. And the Iranian community, being the most influential, successful, fastest growing Iranian immigrant community in the US, is not benefiting from that. 10 years ago, in 2010, the Iranian Complete Count Coalition was created. And at the time, I was the national campaign manager. 3 large organizations came together and kind of put that coalition together, and all the Iranian American organizations came together. Unfortunately, we didn't respond to those questionnaires, and we had PSAs and videos, and we know that we have at least 1 million Iranians here in California, and the total count came out about 270,000. And we know that's very wrong. And for the census to count a minority group in the US, you have to have a minimum threshold of 1 million counts.
Wow.
So it's fast forward to 2020, the Los Angeles Iranian American community, from nonprofits to the media outlets to a certain individuals who are very active in the community, came together again, together with the representation from the US Census Bureau, because they have an assigned partnership specialist in every community, including the Iranian American community. We came together, we created this complete count committee, which is part of the census efforts to engage different communities to start to become aware and create awareness in their communities. We created the Iranian Complete Count Committee, which is operating under the tagline Iranians Count. So everybody can go to iranianscount.org online on our website or on any of the social platforms, like you mentioned, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can see on YouTube, where we have a lot of videos too. So I was elected, we're all volunteers. I was elected as the committee chair again, based on my experience and the network that I have within the community, both locally and nationally, to bring awareness about the importance of writing Iranian on question number 9. So I've been working very hard together with the rest of the task force to create content and raise awareness, but we need everybody's help. We have all these amazing videos that actually just launched over the past week or so that are really cool. We got some beautiful faces of our community leaders, celebrities that came and showed up in one day on March 12th. It was like the longest day ever, and it was right before we go into the whole shutdown mode. They showed up during the day to do the PSAs. We shot the videos with my dear friend Hamid Moslehi, and then in the evening we went to the radio and did the kickoff show remotely. So a lot of people are working behind the scenes very hard to create this content and awareness. And we all, because of COVID-19, the period to participate in the census has been extended. April 1st was the first official day, but it's going to go through July. But let's not wait till July. We're all home. We have nothing else to do. Go to iranianscount.org and just follow the steps, and it's easy. It's 10 minutes.
So they
less
can
than 10
so they can fill out it online, because I know I received it in the letter.
Yes. This is the first time. This is the first year that you can fill it out online. So you can either fill out the form that you got at your home, or you can go to the Census website. It's right there on the homepage, or to go to the Iranian.
So there is no excuse for anybody watching here, especially if you're Iranian, to not go to IraniansCount.com.
.org.
IraniansCount.org, right? So go over there. I did it, like, it's so funny that, like, almost like a day or two after you messaged me, I received it in the letter, and I was like, normally I would have put it aside. The entire time I had you in my voice, and I was like, I'll do this right
you
now.
don't want to get in trouble with Bita.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one per household, right?
Yes, one form per household. So, and if some people said I didn't receive my code, because when you go online, it asks for your code. You don't need the code. You can skip that step.
Oh, okay.
It's per address. So you just fill it out for your whole household. And this includes everybody who's, considered has a home in the US. So you have some grandparents that come and go and stay here 6 months. They get counted too if they're here at the time that you're filling out the census. Because, the benefits, people say, so what? The benefits are like many. So if you go on IraniansCount.org, we've listed them all. I don't think we have time to go through them all now.
Tell me the top 3
Basically,
benefits.
I'll tell you my own personal experience. Not being considered a minority in 1991 when I was applying for financial aid, very much needed financial aid as a new immigrant here, because I was considered white, because that's what we are considered right now. We're considered under the white category, white race category. I was declined to receive benefits, whereas my fellow student who was 4th generation Mexican, because they fall under the minority group, because some people say, well, our children were born here, they don't think they're Iranian. Well, they're born to Iranian parents, and if they feel that it's how you connect yourself, you identify yourself.
Yeah.
So if your children identify themselves as Iranian, then they too can be considered as Iranian, because eventually it will benefit them in the long run when they retire and they need social benefits as an elderly person, because it goes both ways. We will have political clout. We would have so many different areas where, when you are counted as a minority group in the United States, there comes benefits with that. So that's why we're trying to do this. It's not about separating ourselves or alienating ourselves from being an American. We're all Americans, but we just happen to be Iranian Americans, and all you have to do is pick any box. You could, because we have Iranians that have black blood in their lifeline that goes back to south of Iran, going back to the. Yes, you can check yourself black, but you also can write in Iranian underneath it. So there's no reason to say, well, I don't want to check white, or I don't want to check whatever else. And the other one last thing on this, people say, well, Iranian is not a race. You're absolutely correct. But that's how the United States Census has created their tabulation system. It's not something that we created. And so under the race category, if you look at it, like under white, you'll see Italian, you see Chinese. So there's all over the, that's how they calculate, the different minority groups. And that's it. Yeah.
So it looks like the entire Iranian American community needs this education to first be informed about the importance of this, that it's still not out there. Are there any paid ads? Like, is there digital marketing going? Is there
Yes.
Like, who's budgeting this? I mean,
so this IraniansCount.org is all volunteer based. There has been some funding that we've received from one of the government organizations that has supported us with the PSAs. Okay. But the census, the U.S. Census, has spent a lot of money in creating awareness through their third-party ad agency that they're putting out advertising to raise awareness about the census, and Parsons Quality Center together.
No, but Bita, we need to, sorry to cut you off, but we need to come up with something funny, viral, cool.
Yeah, we got some of those. Some of those things are in the. I just posted the blooper version with Mos Jobrani.
I saw that, but we got to do more. I mean, we got, and I know you told me last month to help out.
Yeah.
And
all we need just to go is, either people can create their own bloopers. Farzi Loco can create his own. Moz has helped out. There's a blooper version of the one that I've posted before. The serious one. There's a bloopers version, but. Bottom line is, whether it's funny or serious, everybody needs to take this serious. I mean, it's not about, it's not about separating ourselves. It's about creating an identity for ourselves as a community that's been that's been contributing so much to America, for us to also have a say. And right now we don't have a voice. So
Yeah.
we need to have a voice.
Good. Is there anything else regarding the census that you
No,
want to
just
mention?
please go on IraniansCount.org, whether you go on the website or on the social media pages. Message me directly. I answer every single question, and please spread the word. That's all we can ask for. Yara Shahidi and her father Afshi Shahidi did a personal PSA video for us. I mean, there are people.
Man, I want to have a chat with Yara, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna message her father, but I know you're
Okay.
friends with her. Make it happen. She makes us so proud as Iranian Americans.
And she's the future president of the United States. Mark my word.
I would believe that.
I've known Yara since she was 9 years old. She is so passionate about her, she wants to tell the whole world that she's Iranian just as much as she's, and she started that when she was 9 years old, when she co-starred with Eddie Murphy, and she wanted to do a press junket in the Iranian community. So I was the publicist to help with that, and that's how we met.
Wow,
and she's just an incredible young woman.
Yeah.
And back then we didn't have hashtags. Now we do. So ever since we do, I've been hashtagging Yara for protests ever since. So I'm rooting for that.
She is, and you can also tell she's raised by really great parents. I mean, and you can just tell certain things, and there's a lot of
her brothers. Her 2 young brothers are amazing too, and they're just the most humble, amazing, effective first family to me.
I love it. I love it. I can totally see them all in the office in about 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. What I did want to also ask you about or talk to you about is what makes you happy?
I think I'm one of those people that when I see my people around me and my community and when I see balance and justice around me, and that's what I think I get kick out of it. So when I see injustice or something where somebody needs help or whatever, I feel like obligated to jump in there, which takes a toll on me sometimes, when you want to be, I don't want to call myself a fixer, because by no means am I in that position to fix things, but I tend to be the fixer. Like if there's a problem, people come to me and I get to solve that problem. That's my high, being able to solve somebody's problem, being able to, be an effective person in somebody's life or a business or an organization, whatever it is. So I think, it's just part of my DNA. It's not about, some people who are not as kind would call that, somebody who wants attention, but that's not, I don't even go there anymore. I don't even allow that to enter my space and my zone. But, I just feel good when I do something good for my surrounding, whether it's in the Persian community, whether it's outside. And I'm so blessed to have so many amazing people in my life all over the world at a touch of a button in my Black Rolodex that you reference. I am so humbled that I can text individuals and they just say yes, or even if they can't say yes, they make sure they find another source that can help solve that problem for me. And I pride myself in having that connection and that network. And that's my tip to every young person entering the business world, entering the real world, is that don't forget the power of your network. Don't forget the power that you will have eventually if you're kind to people, if you appreciate the person that are senior to you, that give you advice and guidance. Have I ever been in a situation where that senior person has not been kind or has been abusive towards me? Yes, 100%. But I kind of took that with all the other things that comes with that, whereas I'm learning from this person, from their experience, and let's just not be so sensitive about everything and just, work hard to get to the next level and build that pathway that's going to carry you forward forever, and don't ever burn bridges. That's my thing.
And you actually have also, amongst the many other things that you keep yourself busy with, you've been very big on women empowerment. So what other message do you have, especially for younger women, perhaps even younger Iranian American women that are right now growing up in like as 18, 19, 20 years, if they were born and raised here, they may have lost their identity to Iranians, or they might be confused. What advice do you have for young Iranian Americans that are growing up right now here? Females. Let's go females.
I can only speak as to my own experience. Just like you said, earlier, I don't even know why I feel so connected to my Iranian roots. Technically, I should have forgotten a long time ago. I left Iran when I was 13, but somehow it stayed with me. Similarly with you, it's something that's part of my DNA. I'm not very Persian. Like, I don't do a lot of things that are typical Persian cultural stuff, but as far as like my lifestyle, but my DNA, I am so proud of it. And that transcends into my everyday life. In my corporate world, every single person knows that I'm very much connected to my community, and I gain respect for that because, first of all, they see a different side of you. When people connect, and I reference back to an interview I did a long time ago, and I'm like, wow, that was good what you just said there, is that when people, I personally as well, when you get to know somebody on a cultural, personal level, you tend to trust them more. You feel like you know them more. I mean, in business, like I'm sure you've had many experiences with somebody, let's say from, China. If you know that in, what they do in everyday life and their culture, you feel like, oh my God, that's what they do. We do the same thing. Or you find, a mutual grounds.
Similarities, yeah.
Similarities, and that's how people, when you start trusting people, you do business with them more, you share more freely with them. And it's such an amazing thing to be proud of where you come from and who you are and what you stand for. Because if you're confident and you're like, yeah, I own this is who I am, people respect you more for that, and you become more interesting. Right. And what better thing than being an interesting person, not a boring person,
Yeah. So you share your culture's music, you share your culture's dance. Well, the dancing is a lot of Latin stuff. That's like your thing. Right?
I'm very poor. When we do these showcases at our dance studio, the past two we do like an annual dance showcase for all the students for the holidays. I've squeezed in a Persian dance both times.
I got a little bubba
No, very like, I did a classical Azeri dance once, and then this last time I did kind of like a fusion. So, and people, my dance studio, they don't teach Persian, it's not a part of the thing, but, because I've contributed to that studio and I've been a, loyal student, and I've been part of everything they do. And, we go and clean up the kitchen after, dance, productions or whatever it is, become part of that. You need to immerse yourself into something that you love and become part of that community. Because the community is what's going to hold each other together. And then people will be like, oh, wow, you dance Persian? Why don't you bring you know what I mean? Like, I'm just giving it as an example.
No, of course.
It's how you perceive things. And on that note, on a final note on this, a lot of people in Germany, and I'm sure you've heard this too, who immigrated to the US or other places, I hated Germany. They were so racist. I never experienced racism. If anything, I became part of that community. I told you earlier, I was playing the piccolo flute, part of the marching bands they had in that 2.5 years. It's how and that applies here too. Anywhere we go, we need to immerse ourselves and become part of that and not alienate ourselves. Same thing with the Census. We need to become a part of it. We're not alienating, No,
I mean, I've always said that there's bad apples in every batch, So like, yes, in Germany, of course, there's some racist people. But over here in America, I've experienced it. But you have to look at everything in its totality and as a whole. And I definitely had
your attitude too, Iman Jun. If I continue saying I'm not like them and I'm going to stay away from them, that's how they're going to look at you. But if you try to like find the balance and become a little bit like them, and they become interested in how you are, that's how you in human relations, that's how you find the balance. So I think we need to be more open-minded on our end too when we want to try to enter a new space and a new place where we want to be part of something.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the people who, like, especially Iranians who come here and they kind of just stay like in a little cocoon in the Persian community, I'm like, you're doing yourself the biggest disservice. Forget about the language part of it. Okay, even you're already hurting yourself for not being able to learn the language, but then not having the cultural integration. You're doing nobody a disservice.
I received messages in Persian and on my Instagram, and I've asked, do you live in the US? Yes. And then they answer again in Persian. And it's like, are you serious? Like, okay, yes, I do understand Persian. It's great. But as long as you continue communicating that language, that's where you're going to get stuck. I love Persian language culture. I was the executive director of the foundation that celebrated all of that. This is not about dissing my culture. It's about becoming a part of the community for your own benefit to succeed. You have to assimilate. Otherwise, if you stay alienated, you're never going to,
You stay in one place. You got to keep on moving forward. So I mean, we pretty much just scratched the surface on the things that you've been doing and who you are, and I could go on for hours and hours, but unfortunately, we do have to wrap it up. However, I would love for you to spend a minute or two sharing whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever message that you want to let the world know about making the world a better place and being awesome.
Being awesome starts with yourself. You need to feel good about yourself. This is a repetition, but I'll repeat again. Self-care is so important in this day and age. With technology and working around the clock, most of us, we forget. Taking time out to do whatever it is that makes you happy. Not just emotionally, but also makes your body happy. Don't be, not being a couch potato and just like sitting there and doing nothing. There's like so much you can accomplish in one day, and just being kind to each other. I see so much negativity and hate and criticism. I catch myself every time, if my mind goes somewhere, that I try to criticize somebody, and I try to shy away from that and move away. Yes, I do get upset, I do get sad and disappointed. I've had closest friends of mine that I considered family disappoint me and block me on social media for no reason, and that's like, it really saddens me. So I only wish well for everybody, and all of us should wish well for each other, even if we don't see each other eye to eye, especially in this day, political climate that we live in. Accepting each other as we are, and just loving each other, and not making a point to go to criticize on someone. If you don't like something on social media, thankfully there's billions of other options.
Yeah.
Let's move on, and instead of making a point to write something negative to somebody, and just being loving human beings. That's what we're created to be, to love each other and not to be hateful. And what better time than now, with what we're all going through as a global community. I don't think in 100 years the global community has not experienced what we're experiencing. It's a great opportunity for us to just love.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's so great to not see as much combativeness and hate. There's a little bit when it comes to decisions of Trump and whatever, but overall, you see like arms being wrapped around the world. And I hope that we get out of this mess very quickly, but I hope that we continue to take on these wonderful moments and make it part of our daily life in the future. And I just want to take a moment, and on behalf of all Iranians, especially outside of Iran, to thank you for everything that you do to raise our flag, to wave the flag, and also the American flag. And you as a LA person representing your city, you as a woman, as an Iranian woman, I mean, I have so much love and respect for what you do. And I just cannot wait to see all the great things that you're going to continue doing. I hope that you continue to grow a huge following of people who are fans of yours, but then also want to do the same great things that you're doing. So continue being a wonderful light in the world, and can't wait to. Every Iranian guest that I have, which tomorrow is my boy Farzi, on Monday it's Maz Jabrani. I'm going to make sure we talk about the census, and I'm going to dedicate those parts to your efforts and the fellow volunteers that are part of it, and anything else that I can do for the Iranian census. Let me know, and I'll be happy to share it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time. Love you very much. And be safe and healthy. Take care.
Stay home.
I am. Trust me, I will be.
Everybody.
I'm always in my PJs. That's all I'm doing.
Everybody needs to stay home and take this seriously so we can get back to work. Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Iman.
Take care, on. Tschüss.
Love you. Thank you. Tschüss. Ciao. Wir haben kein Deutsch geredet.